Certainly, yes.
I didn't want to interrupt the jihad. I have a question that goes to a prior point. Yeah, okay.
You want to save it, you mean?
No, I'll save it, or I'll ask it now. It's not a jihad question. Okay. On the theocracy issue, I was at a lecture by Julian Bond in which he said that his main opposition to Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam was that he, in his opinion, Julian Bond's opinion, Louis Farrakhan's intent for the United States was to establish a theocracy. And what I think he meant by that was a government in which the laws and all the institutions are derived from a particular religious base. So I don't know that it's really the same kind of definition that you have. See, I think that a lot of Americans may fear Islam and consider it a theocracy because of what would happen if, I don't understand how Muslims could gain control of the United States, let's say control the House of Representatives and the Senate as a majority, and
well, I love it that you're suggesting that Americans are afraid of Islam establishing a theocracy, because I think you are expressing a fear that a lot of people actually have, which seems to me to be completely irrational. Where are the Muslims in the world to ever do something like that? The Muslims in the United States are all of 2% of the population. Islam is spreading quite a bit amongst the African Americans, although I would estimate that not more than 6% of all the African Americans today are Muslims. When Professor Suleiman Yang talks about this, maybe he will tell you something more. But the African Americans will never establish any rule here. And talking about Louis Farrakhan, I mean, the prospect of him doing anything is utterly out of the question. Or if one looked at Islam beyond the boundaries of the United States, you will see that, yes, the Muslims are very numerous, but not so numerous as to constitute a majority in the world. In fact, they're less numerous than the Christians. By the very minimum estimate of the number of Christians in the world, there would be 25% Christians. By the very maximum estimate of the Muslims, there would be 20% Muslims in the world. That's about as close as you could get. And where are the Muslims located? In the very poorest countries, the ones with the highest rates of illiteracy, the ones that are the most marginal to the world economy, and ones which have a great deal of ignorance about the actual mainstream or orthodox practices and teachings of the religion of Islam. The average Muslim is a 14-year-old girl in Bangladesh who goes and gets water from the river with a pot on her head. And so, and I'm not saying that, relating that to you either. I think that you're just bringing that up because other people think that, and so you're making a note of that. But that seems very odd, and it seems to reflect a certain kind of odd insecurity that the American people have about things.
But I think Jim was saying that Julian Bond, what I heard is Julian Bond was saying that's what people fear, and that Julian Bond himself thinks that that's crazy.
No. Julian Bond said his main problem with Louis Farrakhan is that Louis Farrakhan would like to establish. He didn't say Louis Farrakhan was ever going to be able to, but he said that Julian Bond was relating his opinion and the basis of his main opposition to Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.